Hey everybody out there, this is Seto, and today for you guys we'll be doing an awesome deck profile, a deck update actually, of my Gimmick Puppet decks. This is one of those decks that I actually have played for a while. I enjoy the deck, I love its playstyle and its mechanic, the ability to go for level 8s and go for chaos, exceed monsters, which is so cool, and it's actually built into the deck's, playing mechanics, is awesome. But I will say, it is probably the most scariest deck I've ever built because while I am not afraid of dolls, the contortions of the artwork of the dolls in things like Gimmick Puppet Chimera doll kind of freak me out. It's probably the most disturbing artwork I have ever seen in Yu-Gi-Oh! Is from this archetype. I'm just being honest. Not for the fact of dolls, but for the fact that they just contort them in weird, ways. They have them broken. They have them discombobulated. It gets creepy. I think this is more scareful than Fright First, which look cute and cuddly but dangerous. Just saying. But yes, let's get into the deck profile, guys, without further ado. So first off, we run 3 Gimmick Puppet, I can never pronounce it, Biscuit doll. When I first saw this card, my dyslexia, I will say, kicked in, and I called it to my friend, oh, they made Gimmick Puppet Burlesque doll. I don't know why. That just popped out of my head, and everybody, since then, I've called this burlesque, so I apologize if I say that again. But I know it's Biscuit. But 3 Biscuit doll is really good, actually. Biscuit doll is really awesome because for the fact that she can actually help precipitate and get into your level 8 exceed plays much more easier with this deck. On top of that, she has a great graveyard effect that helps protect your Gimmick Puppets, which is awesome. So probably definitely, I would say probably one of the best cards in the deck, but definitely a staple 3 of. Next up, we run the old but reliable 3 Gimmick Puppet Drury doll. Drury doll is pretty good for this deck even nowadays. Ever since it came out, it's been a staple 3 of. Great graveyard effect to help, get things going. The good thing with Biscuit doll, which is awesome, is you can pitch things like Drury doll to grave to get its graveyard effect off and going if you have something already engraved. That's one of the reasons I like Biscuit as well, is because it can help set up Gimmick Puppets engraved a little bit more easier for effects, depending upon your hand, your graveyard, etc. But definitely 3 Drury doll in the deck, hands down, I feel like. Next up, though, we run 3 Magnet doll. Magnet doll, people run in different ratios, I find. I've seen people run this as a 2 of, a 1 of. I am in the belief that you need to run this as a 3 of, and I've seen people run it as a 3 of as well. But it's a staple because it's going to help precipitate your level 8 exceed plays. It's very easy to get out onto the field, which is awesome. The only thing is you only can control 1 per turn, but hey, if it's going to help set up for your rank level 8s, and then you can go into a chaos monster, etc., why not run it as a 3 of? You have trade-in in the deck. If you draw multiple, you can trade in them away. So, it's fine. 2 Gear Spring Spirit. This is debatable on the ratio you want to run. It's another type of card that's going to help facilitate level 8 exceed plays in your deck, which is awesome. I've seen people not run it. I've seen people run it as a 1 of, 2 of, 3 of. This is probably the one card I will say in the entire deck, depending upon how you're building your deck, how you want to play it, people run at different ratios and copies from me, playing this deck. And that doesn't just go for recently. That's been throughout the course of this deck's history since this card came out. I think it was in Hidden Arsenal years ago. So different people play different ratios of the card. But me personally, I like it as a 2 of. Yes, it has some benefits, but it's going to really help facilitate your level 8s just that more easier. 3 Gimmick Puppet Humpty Dumpty. Humpty Dumpty was one of those cards that you always used to run it like as a 1 of or 2 of until the new support came out and made him more viable with the links, the exceeds, etc. So he's a staple 3 of now because he's going to help get onto the field additional Gimmick Puppets, which then can facilitate other Gimmick Puppets coming out, and it kind of cascades down for there. He's kind of like a starter for the deck that help him can go into your links, your basic level 4 exceeds. There's a lot of things he can do overall. So Humpty Dumpty's a staple 3 of in the deck, I feel like. Next we have 3 Gimmick Puppet Terror Baby. I'm going to admit that's a scary card. whoever is doing the designs for Gimmick puppets, they take things out of your nightmares, man. A terror baby. Come on. Like, look at that thing. It's got one red eye looking at you. Crazy card. So what this card does, and this is a little bit of a newer card, so I'm going to read the effect to you guys. When this card is normal summon, you can target one Gimmick puppet monster in your graveyard, except Gimmick puppet terror baby, special summon in defense position. That's awesome because, like we were talking about with Burlesque Star and Trade-In, you're going to have a lot of Gimmick puppets in grave, so that's really good to help facilitate Exceed plays and Link plays as well. The next effect is you can banish this card from your graveyard. Your opponent can't activate cards or effects in response to the activation of your Gimmick puppet monsters effects this turn. That's awesome because that protects you against monster effects and just effects in general from getting negated of your Gimmick puppets. That's awesome. The deck needs that because of certain ways when it goes off and does its combo plays with strings maybe, and then you go into the, different combo plays. You want to make sure they don't get negated to get the best effect of the deck off. So, staple 3 of, I feel like, is going to be used to, help facilitate different plays in the deck depending upon your hand and graveyard. The deck's very versatile now, I feel like. 2, Mega Phantom Beast, Tetherwolf. Now, Tetherwolf is in here. You may say, why are you running Tetherwolf? Well, listen to me why I say this is because this is going to help facilitate into your Gimmick Puppet Chimera Doll, which is a really good card for the deck. And also on top of that, him himself, he is a level 4. So if need be, you can go into a level 4 exceed play, which is kind of nice to have. So I've had some instances, depending upon the scenario, I'll just go for a Giryan Gaio X with him and another rank 4 I may have on grave on the field. So he's really in here to help facilitate your Chimera Doll, but he will be used for basic level 4 things like I was just talking about, your Gigantic X. So really just nice cards at 2 of. Some people like running him at multiples. I'm more of a 2 of on him because he's great, but he's not essential to the deck, so to speak. Next we run your basic spells. We run 3 trade-ins in the deck. You have a multitude and a plethora of level 8s in the deck. Be it Drury Doll, be it Burlesque Star, which you see that I just said Burlesque Doll, Besqui Doll, which usually you're not going to do that, but you also have Magnet Doll. You have Gear Spring Spirit. You have a bunch of level 8s here, guys, where this card is going to be live. And it'll help you draw to your rank ups and everything else so you can continue on with your combo plays. So I feel like this is an essential 3 of in the deck. Next up we run our 3 Machine Duplication. Machine Duplications used to not be essential in this deck because we didn't have a lot of targets, so to speak. But as time has gone on, we have gotten more targets. So Machine Duplication has become more live. Some people did run it, but not as much. So Machine Duplication is really awesome because this is going to help facilitate different plays in your deck with different cards because it's level 500. So your Drury Doll, that helps out with it. Your Baby Terror Doll, that helps out with it. Your Humpty Dumpty, that can help out with it. Usually you're not going to use it with Humpty Dumpty. Some of these you're not going to use it for. But the main ones you're going to be using it for is Terror Baby and your Drury Doll. Humpty Dumpty's in there just because, but these 2 are going to be the main ones now. Now that we have more targets, like I said, it's more live and better. So 3 Machine Duplication. It's really awesome that you finally get to use that card of the deck to its full effectiveness. Thank you, Konami, for doing that. 2 Condolence Puppet. This is a card that people run in different ratios as well. It's a 1 or 2 of. This card came out at the end of last year, pretty much, which is really awesome. It's a creepy looking card, I will say that. But it's a pretty neat card to have. If you guys don't know what it does, it's very... I would say the text is not really worded the best, but I'll read it to you guys. Send one Gimmick Puppet monster with different names from your deck to your graveyard up to the number of monsters your opponent controls. That was special summoned from the extra deck. +1. You can banish this card from the graveyard, then target one Machine XYZ monster you control. It can't be destroyed by your opponent's card effects while face up on the field. You can only use this effect of Condolence Puppet once per turn. Now, you may look at that card, and in a nutshell, you're going, okay, I get what you're saying. It's a little bit complicated, but what are you using it for? Well, what you're using it for is to set up a bunch of Gimmick Puppets in grave in certain plays. Because there are a lot of Gimmick Puppets, as we've read, be it Terror Baby, be it your Drury Doll, be it pretty much just about everything. In your deck, your Condolence, you know, your Besquee doll, they get effects engrave, which protect your stuff. So say you're going second, your opponent went off, which they do sometimes in an age where you try to build a board. You activate this, you set up your graveyard for protection and to negate stuff, and then you go off. And then you can also use it to help, you know, with your Exceed monsters too. That's why. It's a decent card to have, but I found over time it's really good. I didn't think too much of it until I started playing with it more, to be honest. Double Junk Puppet. I used to run this as a 3 of, not so much anymore, but Junk Puppet is the archetypal monster reborn for the deck, so to speak. Staple 2 of in this deck, actually. Next up, we run 1 Performer Pile Puppet. This is a card that some people run at 2 or 1. It's up to you. They made Humpty Dumpty so freaking scary in this artwork, I'm just saying, but I like it as a 1 of in the deck. It's a nice little card to come in because it's a continuous spell, so that is very useful, especially with your rank ups. Next, we run 2 rank up Magic Quick Chaos. We run 1 rank up Numeron Force, and because it's back off the ban list, thanks be to the Yu-Gi-Oh gods, rank up Magic Argent Chaos Force, which was originally run in this deck ages ago as well. So these are the rank ups you run. Quick rank up is nice because you can set it, you can bluff with it, which this deck does run some quote-unquote traps. So you can bluff with it, and also you can activate on your opponent's turn and really get the effects going, which is really awesome to do. Numeron's just a good 1 of. That's an ultimate rare, by the way, I've had for ages. Then we have Crank Up, the Argent Chaos one. This is really made for this deck. This, I think, even was used in the anime with this deck, but it's really good for this deck overall because of the ability to reuse it because of how many Chaos monsters you'll have, and you'll go for per duel now compared to when you used to. It's essential, I feel like. Next, for your other spells, we just run 1 Upstart Goblin. I wanted some draw power in this deck. This deck can brick sometimes, and I want just some extra draw power just to get to combo pieces and to get to my rank up. So Upstart Goblin works out well in this deck. 3 Infinite Impermanence. You want some type of negation in your deck against monster effects. Your monsters you're going to bring out, the big level 8s, they're going to be big attack. So you don't need to really worry about too much about getting run over or roughshod. You have protection a lot of the time, but you want something to stop your opponent, to slow them down. So you can either run Ash Blossom or Infinite Impermanence. I'm leaning towards Infinite Impermanence a little bit more with this deck, but that's up to you to decide. But either Hand Traps or Infinite Impermanence I like. And lastly, we run 2 Puppet Parade. Puppet Parade is interesting. A lot of people, it works well with the rank ups in the deck, but it depends how you want to build the deck. Do you want to build this deck with a lot more traps? You focus on Trap Trick and you go down this route to focus more on Puppet Parade. You can go down that route. You can run it where it becomes just a good card in the deck that works out well. It's up to you to decide with Puppet Parade. If you guys don't know what this card does, if your opponent controls more monsters than you do, and that's the reason why, I'll get into this in a second, but that's the reason why I don't run this as multiples. Special summon 1 Gimmick Puppet monster with different names from your deck up to the difference. If your opponent's life points are 2,000 higher or less, higher than yours, you can set 1 rank up magic normal spell directly from your deck. For the rest of the turn after this card resolves, you can't special summon monsters except Gimmick Puppet monsters. So the reason I don't like making the deck wholly around this card, even though it's a good card, is because it takes some stipulations. As you read there, opponent must have more monsters than you do. Opponent must have 2,000 more life points than you do. Okay? That's not a big stipulation. There's been worse stipulations in Yu-Gi-Oh! For cards. But in every other duel that you play, it's not guaranteed that this is something that's going to go off, so to speak. It takes some setup. It takes a chance that your opponent may not be 2,000. They may be 1,000. It takes some chance to the opponent, even though this deck is going to use a lot of its materials to go for level 8s, Exceeds, and Link monsters, that you may have more monsters than your opponent because you're winning the duel. So it's a great comeback card, but it takes setup. So that's why I like the card. It's easy stipulations, but it's not. I wouldn't build the deck completely around it for that reason. But just wanted to explain that a little bit in depth. Let's get into the extra deck. We run 2 Gimmick Puppet Chimera Doll. Creepy card all the way. And we also run 1 Georgian Giant X. This is basic monster searching stuff. We do run some other links in the deck, but that's pretty... you can run other links in the deck, but I just like the Chimera Doll. We do run also your Gimmick Puppet Gigantus Doll. Freaky card freaks me out. Yes, it does. The artwork, man. But this card's really nice, but just as a one-of in the deck. Then we run Gimmick Puppet of Strings, number 40. I run 2 of those, 2 number 40s, 2 number C rank up 40 Gimmick Puppet of Dark Strings. So, like I said, we run a lot of Chaos Monsters here. The combos with these two are really good. Same thing goes with your Gimmick Puppet Giant Grinder. We run 2 Gimmick Puppet Giant Grinder, 1 C15 Gimmick Puppet Giant Hunter, which is good. So Giant Hunter, we run him as a one-of. He's nice to go into. Then we run some just wonky cards that, hey, if you get these bad boys off, you win the duel, guys. I will say it's a little bit more easier to get them off than it used to. That's number 88 Gimmick Puppet of Leo, and number C88 Gimmick Puppet Disaster Leo. If you get this off, good for you. You win the duel, man. You deserve to win the duel. I'm just saying. We also run Diagust Orchestra of the Evening Star, Ningirsu. So 1 Ningirsu. It's a machine. You can go for it. It's awesome. And then I also just run 1 Divine Arsenal AA Zeus, the Sky Thunder. He is a machine. There are situations where something may have gotten negated. You need to rank up into something bigger. Hey, you can go into Divine Zeus. That's awesome. He's just there in case. And it's really nice to just have him in the deck because he's a machine as well. So there's going to be no stipulation issues. So that's what I've been running in the deck overall. So I hope you guys all enjoy this video. Like I said, I love this deck to pieces. It's a fun deck to play. It's not super meta, but it's a deck that I feel like you could take to locals. Your opponents wouldn't know what it does per se. And you do pretty good against your friends and buddies again with this deck, I would say, overall. I feel that would be not something to underestimate, but it's a fun deck that's actually gotten better and more competent, and that can be a good, fun, casual deck to play, and that will get wins against powerful, other decks out there that are meta, because people don't know what the heck you're doing some ways. They just know, oh, you have these powerful Chaos Monsters. They don't know the ease now that you can go for them, which is kind of cool. But till next time, take care, have fun dueling, good luck dueling to all of you. And I apologize in this video if I stopped a couple times. My throat is killing me for some reason. I think it's my allergies. But I hope you all enjoy the video. And until next time, good luck dueling to all of you. Take care, everybody.